Okay, so let's talk about the homework. Composite functions give you the order of things that are supposed to get done. So I'm going to go ahead and do just a couple from this first page, and then I'll go on to some of the harder ones at the bottom, and then work on the back side. So when we're talking about composite functions, what this really means when I have h of g of 9 means that I need to do g of 9 first. So if I put a 9 into right here, 9 plus 4 is going to give me 13. So that's my first piece, is I have to come up with the g value. So g of 9 is 13. So now I'm going to use 13. Okay, so 13 is the new number I use, and it goes into the h, so it's going to go up here. So h of 13 becomes negative 3 times the 13 plus 5. So negative 3 times 13 is negative 39 plus 5 is going to take me to a negative 34. So again, it tells me which one to do first, okay? The closest one to the number is the one that I do first. Let's go down to number 3. So this one, I have to do f first. So if I put the 1 in here, I have 1 cubed plus 5. That's the f function. So that would be 1 plus 5 would be 6. So now I'm going to use the 6 and substitute into the g function. So this is the f function, this is the g function. 3 times the 6 plus 1, that is going to give me the 19. So that is how all of these work. So on this one, the g is going to go first. On this one, the h is going to go first. Then you take that answer and put it into the other one. So let's look at this one. Scroll down a little bit. So if I substitute into the h, I have squared, put in a 5 and a 5. So 5 squared is 25, minus 5 is going to give me 20. So that is the h function. So I take my 20 and I put it into the g function. So 2 times the 20 minus the 5 gives me 40 minus 5, which takes me back to 35. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense on those. Okay, so 7 and 8 are really the same thing. No difference in terms of process. This one, the g goes first. So you have 2 times the negative 2 plus 4. That would give me a 0. And then, remember, this is the g function. Then I would take the 0 and put it into the f function. So 3 times 0 minus 1, that of course is negative 1. So those weren't too bad. There were some harder ones on the other side. So let's keep going. Okay, so when we have function operations, that means we're going to get both answers and add them. So let's take a look at number 1. So if I just take a look at number 1, and I remember I'm substituting, okay, I'm going to go ahead and put parentheses in for every place the variable is on both of those. So here's the f function, here's the g function. So the 8 is going to go in here, and the 8 is going to go in here. So 3 times 8 is 24. 24 plus 4 is 28. So the f function is 28. All right, let's look at the g function. So same process, just do the math. Negative 2 times 8 squared would be 64 times 2 is a negative 28 minus 4, which would be a negative 132. So now I'm adding. I am adding 28 plus negative 132. So that is where the negative 104 comes down to. So this one means I'm going to substitute in 8 to both of them and then add those answers. Okay, I'm going to add those answers. All right, this guy is multiply. This one is a composite. So remember, composite is like the ones on the front. You're going to do the f first and then the g. Okay, so let's plug in a 0. 2 times 0 minus 3, well, that is a negative 3. And if I put a 0 here, 0 squared or 0 cubed plus 0 is still 0. So negative 3 multiplied 0 is 0. That one doesn't go any farther. So that should kind of help you kind of get going on those. Okay, so 7, 8, and 9 were a little bit different because we were actually combining like terms. Okay, so number 7, it's a fraction, so it's division. So it wants me to take top, put it on top, and the bottom and put it on the bottom, and then try to simplify. Well, I can't simplify because I can't cross anything out. I can't simplify. There's no adding, no subtracting. I'm done. This one does not change. Okay, so this one has no change. This one wants me to take g of x minus h of x. So I have 4x minus 2 minus x squared minus 5x. And let me get a negative here. We lost a negative on that guy. So if, looks like I got sign issues there. Yep, definitely do. Okay, so I know that there's a negative 1 here, and I have to distribute. So that gives me a negative 1x squared, a positive 5x, and I'm adding 4x minus 2 to that. So I'm going to cross that guy out. The actual answer should be negative 1x squared plus 9x minus 2. Same thing on 9. They want me to add. So 2x plus 5 plus 2x plus 3. If I take care of my like terms, I'm going to come up with 4x plus 8. All right, now 10 is a little bit more challenging. So 10, I'm actually going to look at this in terms of a box. Okay, I'm going to make a 4x4 box. And 10 is like, you won't be tested on anything like 10, but just kind of watch to see how we do this. So I want you to think back to the area model when we were actually finding the area boxes. So we know 2t times 4t is 8t squared. And 2t times 4 is a positive 8t. And 4t times negative 2 would give me a negative 8t, and then negative 2 times 4 would give me a negative 8. So take a look right here on the diagonal. See how these are like terms and there's a plus sign right here? So this answer is 8t squared because this one pops out. Positive 8t plus negative 8t, that's 0, so that's gone, minus 8. So that is what's left on that one. That is why we get this answer. Okay? If you have other questions on these, bring your questions on, and you can't figure them out, bring them with you on Tuesday. And if we don't hit them in class on Tuesday, you can get a win pass from me. For Wednesday, we'll have our test on Thursday.